Yeah, you're welcome.
2, 3, 4.
It's a podcast from Steam Power Giraffe. It's the Bennettarium.
Can't do it. It's too hard to sing up with.
Got a lot of fun on the podcast today. It's the Bennettarium.
No boy at the Bennettarium. Welcome to the Bennettarium.
Wow.
Wait, was this a test or is this the actual thing?
That'll be that. That'll be it. So that's an example of us trying to play over a Discord call. So yeah, it doesn't work. There's too much latency.
Welcome to the Bennettarium, a podcast from the creators of Steam Power Giraffe. I am one of your hosts, Isabella Bunny Bennett, and I play Rabbit and Gigi the Giraffe in Steam Power Giraffe. Wow, you really killed that momentum, guys.
I thought it was going to be Brian.
I know. I was like, who's going to take it?
I thought we were going counterclockwise.
Where are you going?
Way to
we
go.
always go clockwise. That's how the clocks work.
We're going
Why would we go
clockwise by video.
counterclockwise?
I just thought we should change it up now that we live in a literal hellscape.
Okay, I'm going.
All right.
Hi.
You get.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Penyak. I'm a Walter worker with Steam Power Giraffe.
This is a very serious show.
Wait, I thought Brian was going.
Oh, I thought we were going clockwise in the video.
Yeah, we're going clockwise, so it'd be that it's you two, and then it's me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Later.
Well,
Your
I
turn,
really dropped
David.
the ball on that. Hi, my name's David Michael Bennett, and I play the Spine and Gigi the Giraffe.
Oh, good Gigi. No, Brian's got to give us one. Actually, I want to hear Chelsea give us one.
Yeah, let's hear it, Chelsea Gigi.
Gigi the Giraffe.
Oh, that's her inner soul voice. I've heard that voice many times. I'm Brian Barber, and I play Zero in Steam Power Giraffe. I also play
Happy Halloween, everybody! I mean, this is as close as we're getting to Halloween.
This is that's what as you can see, we're all dressed up as our favorite spooktacular character.
Oh yes, I'm Zombie George Washington.
I'm a 90s R&B star.
That's not scary. Well, the 90s are kind of scary.
I don't know. There's some scary
Some of them
90s
fashion
R&B
choices.
stars.
And David left.
I'm tired. That's my costume.
David's the Invisible Man.
We didn't actually need to put on costumes. Nobody's gonna see this except for the patrons.
This doesn't fit.
No one's gonna see the video.
This doesn't fit on my head.
Because you have headphones on.
Yeah.
Now I gotta find something.
I'll take a picture though.
So, just in case anyone can't see because you all have audio
It's okay. Don't worry. I'll post a selfie on my
only.
Instagram.
Wait, red, right.
Ah!
We're putting on various hats. And you won't be able to see it, but we'll describe it for you.
Yeah, don't worry. We're here for
We have a
you.
bad cowboy living in a cowboy bluff.
Look,
Look
I
at
got a
that
cloak
yo-yo bang bang.
So Brian has
costume.
a latex mask on. That's of Cartman, and it looks like it's from the 2000s, because it's like very disheveled.
It's from 1998. Or, like when South Park first came out. That's where this is from. But it also looks like I've got a Rasta hat on.
That too.
Or like a Speed Racer hat. Speed! You're going too fast! I can't help it.
And let's see, Bunny has a bathroom towel on her head.
No, it's a cloak. I'm just trying to wear it with headphones. It's hard.
And Chelsea has Rex Markslee's hat on top of her headphones, so it doesn't
looks really
sit
dumb.
very well.
Boy, the audio version is gonna be real boring. Where we're just all that
Yeah,
silence.
this is exciting.
Yeah, it will be.
And what's that?
You have to describe everything because no one can see.
I can't.
It's the koala mask.
Oh, koala mask.
Oh, and I have a hat with horns on it.
I don't know how to wear this with headphones.
And Bunny is Raven from Teen Titans.
Azeroth, Metronome, Zenthos.
So this is our Halloween Spooktacular event.
Spooktacular!
We have nothing but Halloween festivities planned for today's podcast. Just kidding. We don't have anything.
We have a pumpkin carving contest.
We have a trivia. We have Halloween trivia.
We got bobbing for apples. We're
Mine.
gonna send you apples in the mail.
Okay, my idea
You
was
just need
actually
to-
like doable. None of yours are.
Well, it's been a while since we've done a what's the hell's the name of the podcast?
Bennett,
Called a Bennettarium.
But today it's the
Bennettarium.
Bennett Ween. It's Bennett Ween.
The Bennett Ween Spooktacular.
Well, what's your?
Gotta-
Does your last name have a holiday, Brian?
Yeah, it does. It's called Barbarismus. It's called Brisketness.
What about you, Pat?
We all sit around and eat brisket.
What about you, Chelsea? Do you got your own holiday like Bunny and I have?
Bennett Ween. Is that what this is?
If you're hoping for some witty improv, you know that that's not my strong suit.
It's been a while since I've done some witty improv.
Anyways, we
So
should
what's-
probably start the.
Yeah, we should probably start.
Podcast.
What's new with everyone? It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Well, I know what I'm busy with.
Yeah.
If we want to talk
Well,
about it.
rattling
right
up
into it.
cattle
Yeah.
and getting them down the road. Yeah.
So yeah, we have a new album that's coming out on November 9th. Right now it's October 27th. It's a Tuesday. We're recording this, but we just started
But
yesterday.
Here's a picture of the new album right here. I'm holding it in my hands.
Oh,
right
wow.
Here.
Look at that, everyone.
It looks amazing. I mean, I can't believe
It
how
does.
much.
I forgot to get one. from
Yeah.
you.
Brian's holding up a pair of nail clippers. If anyone's wondering.
That's not true. It's the album, and it looks very cool. And everyone was very excited to see it because nobody has it yet.
Yep.
So yeah, Chelsea's been shipping international first to make
Yes.
sure that people have it as soon as possible because the mail's gonna take a while.
Yeah, that's what I've been busy with and will be busy with for a while. So that's exciting. New album shipping now over the course of the next few weeks.
Yeah.
What's the name of that new album?
Oh, it's called 1896.
It
and
is.
just to give our little spiel about the advertisement, you can still pre-order it if you're listening to this podcast before it comes out, which you most likely will because there's still a few weeks. We have a YouTube premiere on November 8th at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's kind of an East Coast midnight release of our album, so you can tune in, hear a new single that will drop there. It'll be an audio video, kind of like our last ones. And then our digital copies will go live, so if you've pre-ordered and you don't have the physical album at that point, you already get a digital copy, and you'll be able to listen to the entire album as well, including the acoustic songs and all that. Brian just changed hats to some type of sailor cap nautical hat. One of those white ones, like captains.
Toot.
And Bunny has a headband on and has tied this cloak around.
I'm trying really hard.
It's really hard with headphones on.
That's
Yeah.
I switched to
I've
the
almost
IM
managed.
so I could put the hat on.
I've almost managed, but
And a week after that premiere on November 16th at noon Pacific Standard Time, that's a Monday. So a week after the album releases, we'll be premiering a new music video. It'll be for one of the acoustic songs, and it'll be tied with an acoustic sampler. So you'll be able to hear some of the acoustic songs from the album if you are still on the fence about supporting the band, I guess. But if you listen to the podcast.
well, I listen to the podcast, but I don't know if I
Yes.
want to support the band. I'm more of a podcast fan.
Also, I was supposed to share some more acoustic tracks with some of the higher tier patrons. I can't remember which ones get or new stuff first, but I'll post those. I didn't want to post it yesterday because we had too much work to do. But yep, a few more weeks of posting some samples of the acoustic stuff for patronry on patrons. Okay, I think that's pretty
Did
much
it.
everything. We'll have new
I
music
finally,
video coming
I'm
out.
wearing it like it's intended.
Okay,
Took that.
so let's see. Brian put on some glasses. There's sunglasses that have some holographic.
No, I didn't.
Have some holographic lenses in them that have eyeballs. So
This is, you know, when like holographs were like the thing for like a year. I think I
Yeah.
got these at like Not Spray Farm, and I've had them ever since. One of the eyes is dead.
are you saying you didn't
Well,
you didn't have one of those
What?
cheap holographic slammers or something with
Oh, I had
pogs?
a holographic slammer too, but I lost it real quick. And Not Spray Farm at the
this
Pog
isn't
Championship.
Uh,
But legit, there was a Pog Championship at Not Spray Farm, and I was a part of it, and I lost very quickly.
wow. So you didn't go on. So you're not going to be in one of those Netflix specials in the future where it's like the toys that made us Pog special. Here's
Yeah, it'll be
Brian
me
Barber,
and
Pog champion.
like Hey, look at this kid. He just got a nice holographic Pog Slammer, and there it goes. Like,
There's gonna be footage. There's gonna be footage of little Brian crying after he loses the tournament.
with the captain's hat and these glasses on.
Yeah. And I'll be like, I know that guy.
All right. Well, those kind of hurt my eyes. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, these kind of hurt my forehead too. I usually put like a thing on my, because it's like.
And this
heavy.
cloak is really hot.
I gave up on my hat. It's not staying on my head. Sorry, everyone.
I want to have a good day today, so I'm gonna take my hat off.
Well, I guess slowly.
So,
back to normal.
anyone got any quarantine pandemic Halloween plans? I sure don't.
Just surviving.
We carved
just making sure I get through
a
the
Jack
day.
Skeleton. Carved a Jack Skeleton pumpkin. That was pretty
Oh,
fun.
fun.
Oh, neat.
You're already carving pumpkins?
I don't think
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to carve any pumpkins this year. I don't have a pumpkin yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, our apartment decreed there's no pumpkins allowed. I'm just kidding.
Really?
I don't know. I just
Oh.
you guys.
Wow, you can tell
you guys
how
make up things all the
interesting
time.
my
and then
day-to-day
I do
is.
it. You're like,
Whoa, no pumpkins?
Wow.
I'm fighting everyone on it.
The homeowners association has really gotten out of hand recently.
We don't own homes. We're aging millennials. We don't have homes.
No, and we live in San Diego. What do you?
Yeah, so our rent is the cost of a home.
Pretty much.
If any of you patrons can see behind me, you'll see a bunch of boxes, merchandise.
I see a Walter Worker outfit.
Yeah, that too.
The inevitable pile of, hey, we need to dry clean this, but oh yeah, we're not going to the dry cleaners anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's just sort of soaking into all your CDs, so
We're just gonna do
get some
It's
the
not on the
authentic
CDs,
steam
don't
powered
worry.
giraffe sweat.
Straight from the show.
So yeah,
Yeah.
anyone else have any updates that they want to share? We pretty much updated everyone on what the band's working on, other than the stuff that we say for Patreon.
Oh.
I've
What?
got an update on my computer that I've been putting off. I'm
Oh,
thinking
you're
about it. I'm
getting,
not gonna do it now, obviously.
You're getting a
but
computer,
it's-
huh?
Someone in chat says houses are often cheaper.
What?
Depends on where you live, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
actually more
definitely not
cost effective to rent out here than it
Yeah.
is to own a home.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, that's a lot of additional costs on top of it being expensive.
Well, since it's a spooky season, I thought we could start with a game of I don't know what you call it, where we have a sentence and then the next person continues it. We make a scary story.
Oh.
My
Oh.
favorite.
All right, so I will begin. So there I was. All I had to do was spend the night in the haunted apartment, and then I could get 3 months of rent free. All it took was to stay the night. And then
Clockwise, Chelsea, go.
No, you go.
That's not how it works.
I feel put on the spot. I don't want to do it.
All right, we'll go counterclockwise.
point of the game.
We'll go counterclockwise. I entered the is it an apartment building?
yeah.
Okay, I entered the haunted apartment building, and there was somebody waiting at the door. But I could see slightly through this person, and I also saw that there was a no smoking sign, and that person was smoking. And then,
And now it's me because it's clockwise.
yeah,
I don't want
Counterclockwise?
to do it.
Okay, Chelsea's forfeiting.
I'm gonna
Keep it going.
moderate.
Keep the spooktacular going.
So I reached into my pocket and I found the key that the mysterious that came with the mysterious letter that offered me this amazing deal, but I couldn't find it. All I pulled out was a wallet that had no money in it.
And that's when Frankenstein tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Arr!" And I was like, "What do you want, Mr. Frankenstein?" And he was like, "Did you get your key?" And I was like, "No, Mr. Frankenstein, I didn't." And he was like, "Arr!" And he smashed the door in. And I invited him in for a room temperature otter pop.
So I went into the apartment building where I knew the room temperature Autopops were obviously hiding, and looked in the cupboard. But the cupboard wasn't filled with room temperature Autopops. Instead, it was filled with rats. Thousands and thousands of rats. And the rats ate the Autopops. They drank them all down. And Frankenstein was very upset.
But Frankenstein quickly could not care less about the Otter Pops and the rats because he pointed to the window, and just then Frankenstein's monster burst through the window, and he was all like, "Arr!" And then Frankenstein was like, "Arr!" And they were both like, "Arr!" And then
Frankenstein dialed up on his cell phone. It was a Nokia from the early 2000s, and he called his homosexual lover Dracula. And Dracula came over, and they hugged, and it was very cute. And I drew them OTP fan art, and I gave it to them, and they said, pretty good. And then the Wolfman.
Oh, the Wolfman! He burst into the door, and it turns out that he was Dracula's best friend, a.k.a. dog, for millennial. And now they're hanging out with Frankenstein, and they're building a nice little house, and they're going to have some tea.
And then I realized I was in the wrong apartment the whole time. So I never showed up, and I never got the 3 months free rent, and now I have nowhere to live, and I'm sleeping out of my car.
The end.
Oh, well.
That was scary.
That was sad.
It kind of tracks.
Was that the deal? Were we supposed to do a sad story? Or?
The hardest part is remembering it takes so many turns. I can't really remember what we said.
The scariest part was the 3 months rent.
But hey,
Yeah.
you know what time for it now is?
What?
You know what the time is now for? You know what for time?
Yes.
Is it the game zone?
I can't think of that sentence. What am I trying to say?
You know
Now
what time
it's
it is
time for
now
our questions.
Things.
From our
Oh,
Patreon
question.
patrons. So here's some Bennettarium questions. And I think Chelsea has them pulled up here.
Sure, yeah. So these come from our Patreon patrons. First question comes from Kindy. A silly lore question. Can the bots read the visual captchas, or do they have to have a Walter worker help them?
I mean, there's a cartoon that
I think
explained
this.
that.
I think this
well.
question was asked before the cartoon
Yeah.
came out.
Oh, okay.
Well, that was in our cartoon. Little Macarons did that on our Discord.
No, they can't.
It's funnier if they can't.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
There's no
that's-
reason
Yeah.
they couldn't. She shouldn't be able to.
Which one's the bike? I don't know. Are they all bikes?
They all bikes.
But they're all. Some of those are really like. Which one's a crosswalk? That one kind of has like a crosswalk in it, but not really.
Yeah, I was just
Now,
gonna
when you
say-
say cars, do trucks count as cars?
Does anyone have
I mean,
the
if there's a-
anxiety of like
Yeah,
a sliver
always.
of the traffic light being in one corner of a box and being like, do they
Yeah.
want me to?
If
click
you
it?
get it wrong, like, the military's drones that you're training are going to get the target wrong,
They're like-
and you're going to be responsible for lots of deaths.
I feel like it's an IQ test and someone like, no, there's 5, dummy. Like,
You fail
didn't
this.
see this one?
You revoke your right as a human.
There was a boat on his shirt, you dumb. Now you're not allowed in this site. It was a test. We
And also the
wanted to do
predator
it.
drone,
a
you're going
rope-
to get it all wrong. Poor little predator
A
drone.
robot could never get this.
They're not automated, are they? Probably not.
But what's a bike? I feel like a robot would be the best at that. They're like, oh yeah, of these, I see the bikes immediately. But
But somehow it's the opposite.
I like it when it just gives you 2, and it's like, okay, you fast.
It's like, oh, you forgot. This guy's actually on the phone talking about going biking. That counts. Robot. Robot.
I mean,
burn him! Robot!
sometimes you'll click one and it just says, okay, we can tell by the way you moved your mouse and clicked, you're a human.
This is just like a bicycle trading cards. It's like, you picked it. You're dumb. That's not a bicycle. Robot.
Only-
Burn the robot!
Next question.
yeah.
This comes from Robin. Are there any plans to re-record some older songs with Zero, like you did with SteamWorld Heist and Hatchie? I'd certainly get a kick out of hearing a new studio version of, say, Clockwork Vaudeville or AEH with Zero.
Well, we definitely have lots of versions of Clockwork Vaudeville. I guess mostly from live shows and stuff.
That's
Yeah,
true.
true.
I guess
I mean,
there
we
would
went
need to-
back and we find the opportunity to do one with Sam to record some. So you never say never.
Yeah, if there was an opportunity that presented itself, but
because it was a specific thing I was doing. So like if a project came up like that, for sure. But
I think it would make more
Yeah, I
sense
think it'd
to
be
work on new stuff. I mean, if you're a fan, we're probably gonna do that.
And,
rather
and
than
this
re-record
already
some old
feels
stuff.
so long ago, but your very first shows with us, Brian, you guys did Electricity's in My Soul, and like you have your own verse
Oh, yeah.
for that.
Totally, yeah.
I remember that you came up with your own verse for that song, and that was pretty cool to see. So
There's definitely some ones that would be cool to hear redone, especially with like some of the updates we made over the years. But
For sure.
They
we'll see.
definitely exist live.
No
at
plans.
least. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like there would be people in the camps like unless you did it completely different, like people would want some of the stuff that is iconic to some of those early albums,
For
and it'd be
sure,
like
yeah.
you'd feel that tug of war of like, well, I want to make it different, so it is justified as being new, kind of like what we did with Steamworld Heist, where almost all the songs had a little bit of a different take on them. I mean, I guess something like Honeybee wasn't too vastly different, but
My favorite is AEH because
The drum.
the SteamWorld Heist version of AEH is like a campfire acoustic song. Love it.
so you never know. I think we'd have to have a pretty good idea for like a new updated version, because otherwise it would be like we're just trying to emulate what we recorded on the last studio and put.
We should
new
do one
voice
that's
in.
like that takes place like 100 years in the future. We just make up like
future music.
Like
we're
yeah,
just
like when we
it's
did
the reunion show album
when we did the island version of
live
Line of
on
Light
Mars.
just
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was funny.
we just do some of the acoustic songs on 1896. We definitely played around, not like too many of them, but we definitely played around with the melodies and tempos.
Yeah. Next question is from Dub. Will the lore on the website be updated after the release of the new album?
I think they're meaning because it kind of cuts off after Vice Quadrant,
Maybe. Yeah.
the timeline.
Nothing
and stuff.
interesting has happened to the robots. No, no, we didn't add in Zero.
No, I don't think so.
Getting into the
It pretty
band?
much just says Vice Quadrant, and that's the end. So it's like
Oh.
2017 is when it ends, if I remember correctly.
Whoops.
But it's pretty obscure to like find that on the website. Anyways, you have to click on
Yeah.
the lore, and then you have to actually read it all. But
There hasn't
yeah.
been any major plot developments in the last couple. I mean, well, aside from Zero joining the band, which should be on there.
We should probably put
which-
like quintessential on the timeline, even in the robots and lore and stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, we.
Thanks for letting us know. I can't believe we forgot about that. But I guess there's more important things. But sorry, I wouldn't say they're more important.
But we got a lot of stuff to do.
Maybe I would. No, I guess getting the album out and making sure that we. Have
I don't think
but
too many people look at the website, so yeah.
Yeah, there hasn't been any major plot developments.
I can tell you that no one looks at the website. Like websites are. I mean, we're not like a store.
True.
Our store gets more hits than our actual website, just because like people want to buy stuff, the albums and stuff. But a website that just says, "Here's all the band members. Here's links to their social media pages. Here's contact
Yeah, it's like
information."
you spend time on that stuff, and it's like only so many people are gonna see it. I mean, it's important to us. Like, we are familiar with the world and everything, but showcasing it online is kind of difficult.
Yeah. Next question is from Molly. What are your favorite aspects of your characters in terms of personality, cosmetics, and lore?
I like that Rabbit's rusty. I like the oxidization, the patina. That was a fun discovery early on. And what were the other things? That was
personality,
Lore.
cosmetics, and lore.
yeah. I like that Rabbit is really into like she's like kind to like creatures and the what's the word I'm looking for? That looks don't mean everything. So she probably buddies up with rats and bats and stuff like that.
The unwanted animals.
Spends
unwanted
time with
creatures.
condors. all the ugly animals.
Condors are awesome.
Condors.
Yeah.
For Spine, I definitely like the silver because it's definitely iconic robot color, I guess. So
Sure is.
real happy I lucked out on that one. But I need everything going for the Spine. Like I'm not as artsy with the makeup as Bunny and stuff. So I need all the help I can get. Basically. So yeah, I think that. But I like the hat. I like the whole look. I mean, we all kind of created our characters with something we were comfortable with in the first place. So I think
For sure.
most of the stuff is our favorite. stuff. I mean, we always go through changes over the years, of course, to better reflect the band as a whole and how we all look together in pictures and stuff. So it's all important. But yeah, I would say the basics are my favorite. It's just me, but as a robot, and heighten the things that are already part of me, anyways.
For sure. Yeah, I like the side details on Zero, like little vents and stuff like that. I also just like the fact that it's like patchwork with the silver and gold all over the place. I like that. Yeah, I think the robots are fun in general because they could be they're so smart that they're dumb. Like, and I like that aspect of the comedy. Like, they could be as smart or as and it's never dumb. It's just like very obvious things they miss, and no task is meaningless. So like you can run a joke to the ground and it's fine. It's like it's fine to do that. Like there's no meaningless task there. So that's makes it interesting to play with when you're improv and stuff like that.
Plus, I think the lore and some of the more funnier stuff, like with Zero and stuff, I mean, it definitely fits with like our type of humor and stuff. Like,
oh, for sure, yeah.
So all that's our favorite stuff too. It's not all of it's funny.
Yeah, I remember
but,
some really funny stuff from when you joined and you guys wrote up the little bio and description of Zero. Wasn't there something about a boat? Like Zero bought a boat.
Yeah, boaty.
Floaty time.
Floaty.
There's like the whole Zero's house is something I always want to revisit.
The 90s sitcom.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that he invested like all his money into love. Like,
Yes.
I like that. Like as a concept, like just like that sounds like a lot of fun. Like everyone talks about it all the time. Like let's put some money into this thing. It's like,
Hi, my name is Shifty McNevertrust.
yeah.
Sure, sign right here and love is yours.
Okay. Like yeah, sure.
Later.
But that's like a total Zero trait. Like,
And you're like
totally 100% trusting until like something happens.
You're being
It's like, yeah.
you're being driven around the neighborhood and you see like two people holding hands. Like, stop that! I own love.
Yeah. $10. I got this contract right here. But that's like the robots in general being like this chaotic neutral of like just because they don't understand things, like they can be such a force of good or bad.
The next scene in
And
there
it
is like
doesn't
two
even
people
affect
like
them.
getting married and you see Zero in the background. He's like running. He just comes out. He's like, just like you like pushing away. Like, no, not happening.
What if Zero was like actually doing good in the world with his fortune, and then he made like one small error, and someone took advantage of him, and like,
For sure.
they had to shut down the orphanage.
For sure, I think this is like the thing that makes us like the good characters is that like it is chaotic neutral, but like any intention is always gonna be on the good side. They're always intentions are always good,
Yeah.
but like the consequences could be it's like disastrous.
It's like this sneezy kitten orphanage. And like if the minute the kitten isn't sneezing, it's out.
Oh no!
they turn off the power and the smokestack stop producing.
The milk container turns down.
He's getting orphan.
The milk windmill.
like they're mass producing sniffly kittens. We've done our parents.
They'll never get rid of
Just the right amount of
infection. A mew mew mew. Boo, mew,
Wait,
mew.
are we on the same page? This is like an evil factory, right? Wait, is that the joke? Or is
No,
the joke
I thought it was a good. It just happened to have the facade of
of a factory?
of an industrial coal factory or something.
Oh,
It's
okay,
just,
so it's not-
or it's
Either
not a
way,
steel
it looks
factory,
really
but-
cute. So.
But on the inside, it's just a sneezy kitten orphanage.
And there's like one. Yeah, we only got one in right now. Well, we can hold a few thousand.
This is why we need a cartoon, guys.
Next question.
So that way, halfway through that episode, we can be like, "Wait, I thought it was this," and then it goes back and it plays my idea. I'm like, "Oh, it's a factory. You produce these kittens."
Like the giving out sneezy kittens to all the kids.
Yeah.
All the kids are getting sick. A new cat disease taking over the
I don't know,
world.
that's a little dark. I wasn't thinking about.
And then what it really is.
See, you run something into the ground. That's a great example. We just run it in.
But it's okay because we're robots.
Next question.
Yeah.
Okay. This question.
I think we know that one. Nothing but net.
This question comes from Finn. For the Penyaks, so I guess me. For the Bennettarium music video, you two got into some incredible costumes. What was it like with the horns on? Could you actually see out of them? Short answer, no, not much. You could see a little bit, like, because the front of the horns, like the piece of the horns in front of our eyes had little slits in the, was it latex? What was it made out of? Yeah, latex.
Yeah, latex.
So, like, we could see the ground a little bit. So we could walk unattended, but we needed help going up and down stairs that day. But obviously we could see just enough to stand on our marks and do the choreography that day. But it was definitely disorienting. It was actually more disorienting afterwards, taking the horns off, because like your center of balance gets used to being blind for that long, because we were in them for like over 12 hours, and then that night I had like a sensory overload when I took the horns off, and it was like this weird feeling of like, whoa, there's too much happening.
Yeah, I mean they were definitely troopers doing all that because
It came out great. I think you guys definitely stole the show on that one.
Oh, thank you.
Gabby's beautiful work. Guy, that was great.
Yeah.
It was funny though, like I remember because like Gabby and I were very similar in our concepts, so when we kind of came up with the idea at the same time. I was like, I hope if we do this demon thing, can you do like I don't want any eyes? And she was like, yeah, that's how I made my demons. And I'm like, what?
She already had an eyeless demon design beforehand.
yeah, she on her Instagram you can see that she did she did one of the molds that she did for, I can't remember, I think it was yours.
It was mine, yeah. Camille's was a new one that she made with the curved horns, and I think mine with the horns that went straight up were based off of a previous design she did.
Yeah,
She's great. She's really into monsters and stuff, so we get along.
I think the other one was like, it was a pure white one too, so it was kind of like as if it was pale or something. So it was similar. They're slightly different.
They're really cool.
But yeah, I liked both all.
More crazy characters like that. I'd love it. I'd love if Mr. Pescado was like just this really unnerving like fish prosthetic.
Yeah.
But now it'll be Mrs. Pescado. Or Miss Pescado, because
Miss
Nah,
Pescado.
Miss Pescado to you.
Maybe they're gender fluid.
I
and they
would,
just,
yeah. I mean,
Maybe
I've
it's just
played
Pescado.
Mr. Pescado.
Some fish actually will switch sexes depending on the need, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
I know that's frogs.
A couple different species. No, a couple of fish would do that.
I played Mr. Pescado in the March live stream we did right after the lockdown happened, and like I'm fine with staying Mr. Pescado. I'd say Mr. Pescado, Miss Pescado is gender fluid.
So you're signing yourself up for when we have a in-depth fish prosthetic.
Yes, yeah.
No, there is some charm to the crappy mask.
No,
I
like
think
it.
the more as I said, I was like, you know what, the crappy mask actually looks a lot better.
Yeah.
no.
But like it'd be awesome if like underneath was like actual like detailed like.
he's like he's hiding his actual fish face.
Oh yeah, super detailed fish face.
Someone recommended Dr. Pescado.
Dr. Pescado.
Dr. Pescado.
Doc, help me! And he's just always just carrying a boombox.
Well, I like playing
Doc,
Mr.
come on!
Pescado to break those gender norms.
Well, now Mr. Pescado doesn't exist in any of our music videos, so we kind of we erased.
What a great character, though.
Start over
It's
fresh.
too bad that.
Well, he does in
the
Hot
legacy
Trailer. You can
had
see his
the-
face, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's just
That
the
was-
mask.
I-
Now there's going to be
know.
like some creepypasta footage that people are going to be like,
Yeah.
they say that there's a fish man
Well,
that,
the pandemic
that just
really-
happened to be in the audience on the night of filming.
Yeah.
And they're like, I swear I saw him in other music videos, but I guess no. I guess he wasn't.
It's like a Mandela effect.
It's Bernstein, damn it. The Bernstein Bears. Obviously.
What were you saying, Joseph?
Oh, I was just saying the
Sorry.
original plan was that he was gonna the character was going to be in each of the music videos for 1896 in some capacity, like either it was a big spot or a little cameo, like in Hot on the Trail. But obviously, the pandemic kind of threw a wrench in our video.
We had to
plans.
burn all our Mr. Piscato action figures that we were planning to.
To be honest, though, the end of Ya 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 actually works better because it's less tongue in cheek and more serious. I think.
Yeah. I did like the awkward family portrait.
I mean, it was good. It was
But
fine. But the new version,
it wasn't the
I think
best take, but yeah, totally.
It definitely changes the tone just slightly, but whatever. They're both.
Yeah.
What I liked is that we actually got like the lighting effects were done on camera, and you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looked really authentic, which was cool. Anyway, next question.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so next question comes from Roman. I'm not sure if you've answered this before, but are we going to see Vivian Basile again in any capacity, be it another video log or a possible appearance in the cartoon once that gets picked up? I have the same question
sure.
about Peter Walter 6, but that one feels more likely than Vivian.
You know, I think all those characters are fun, and I think they exist in the back of my mind. But like where's the best part to showcase them and stuff? And it's like, yeah, if we had like a, you know, I don't know. We're doing these animatics now. You know, there's a lot of things we could explore there, but who knows? And yeah, in 6, Peter Walter the 6, I think it would be good to touch on him again. Like he's aging with us, so it'd be nice to see where he is now. Because like we haven't seen him since he was in his 20s. So I don't know. There's a lot of untapped potential there. So yeah, I think as we get older too, it's just like, well, how do we want to approach this stuff, and where can it exist? So that's kind of the question in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, the animatic animations that we have and cartoons definitely seem like the obvious ones, I would say, like right now. So probably what people are thinking in the chat and stuff.
Can you brush me up on who Vivian Basile is again?
That was just
I'm a
supposed to be one of the Basile siblings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bunny did like.
Is that
like
the one you did the video?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, you played.
You know,
her.
I started doing it, and then I think that was when I got my teeth done. All the work on my teeth done, so I kind of dropped on that. But yeah, I wanted to create like a character that I could like perform as or something. It didn't really take off. That's okay. I still like doing it and playing her, and maybe I'll do it again one day.
I mean, even our animatics and stuff, they haven't gotten much views at all and stuff. So you know,
Yeah,
I think it's you know, it's one of those, we're gonna do it as a labor of love.
It's not
when
for
we
lack
do
of
anything,
wanting
so.
to, you know, like I love all the characters that we've created and want to spend a lot more time with them. Obviously, the music always comes first.
Next question is from Walkit. Quick, what's everyone's favorite ice cream / frozen treat flavor?
It says quick, so don't take any time thinking about it as I'm saying this right now. Just first thing that comes off the top of your mind.
It's that
don't delay.
that peanut butter. That's that peanut butter one we were talking about the other day,
PB and
David, from Ben and Jerry's, the non-dairy one.
Yeah, PB and cookies non-dairy is pretty good. But I also like that pie I got for my birthday, and I've gotten it a few years in a row.
It's a staple now.
It's a
What kind of pie?
Do you want to say, or should I? Okay, I make it homemade, and I'm still perfecting it because I'm a perfectionist.
Okay.
But it's a chocolate peanut butter banana cream pie with a Oreo cookie crust.
and the frosting, or not the frosting, but
Oh yeah. So it's Oreo cookie crust, vanilla pudding, sliced bananas, and then a peanut butter whipped cream frosting on top.
I think I had a bite
shnikes.
the one time I was over when you made it.
Yeah, I made it a few years
pretty
ago.
it's really
Seems
decadent.
I make it every year now.
Definitely one of my faves too.
So that's your answer?
Yes.
Yeah. It counts
Oh,
as
I
a
mean,
frozen
the
treat. We freeze
cookies
it.
that Brian's partner made were actually pretty delicious. In fact, I had to steal them back from my girlfriend because I kept eating them.
Oh,
And I was
yeah,
like,
Brian
those are my
brought me
cookies."
something. I thanked your partner, but then they said nope, that was all Brian. So I want the truth.
Well, because it was she was like, you gotta cook it, you gotta bake it day of, but then she has school, so I had to go.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, you made the cookies?
Well, kinda, but like it was her
It was a
idea.
group
for it.
effort.
So it's like,
Wait, what did David
Yeah.
get? I got snickerdoodle.
I made a giant. We made a giant like chocolate chip cookie. It's
We
like
all
just
got to
like
eat
in a
that.
like in a skillet.
It's so good. I'd never had like a homemade skillet cookie before.
Wait, did Brian say what a frozen treat or whatever?
Frozen treat / ice cream flavor?
It has to be
I like,
frozen ice cream.
I like coffee ice cream. It's a weird one, but it's
Coffee?
like something
Coffee?
ice cream I
Wow,
like.
why even have
Yeah.
ice cream at that point?
No,
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, legit. I
just
don't
saying.
even like ice cream. I don't like any other kind of. I like some like sorbets. Like I like raspberry sorbet or like.
Why
something
even
like
have
that.
that
ice
counts
cream?
as it doesn't say just ice cream. It says ice cream or frozen treat.
Oh, I'm about that gelato life too. Then.
Oh,
Gelato.
I mean,
yeah.
a fish can be a frozen treat.
Frozen fish
You eat it
sticks.
frozen.
You're right. Yeah.
Treat of champions.
Anything. Oh, I know my answer. Well, as far as ice cream goes, okay, so there's this exclusive Ben and Jerry's flavor that only Target carries, called Peanut Butter World, and it's like the best
That one's
ice
pretty
cream
good.
ever.
Is that one non-dairy?
No, it's real dairy. It's chocolate ice
It's
cream.
extra dairy.
It's chocolate ice cream
so
with
dairy.
like cookie crumble swirls, so it's got like a crunch to it, and it has peanut butter in
Oh.
it. It's the best. That's
I
my
like
answer.
I like ice cream that has like variety in every scoop. It's nice.
Anything chocolate peanut butter. I'm there.
But yeah, non-dairy's better because you can eat a whole pint and not feel sick.
Yeah.
So if you really want to get your sugar intake, that's a good. It's a pro-life tip.
Okay.
Write this down, class.
Lifestyle tip.
2 more questions. This one comes from Kaylee. Now that you've come this far on your own, would you sign a record deal if one came your way?
I mean,
Like with
sure,
who?
but I don't think we live in a world where record deals are going to happen.
I think.
Are you
I think
offering?
misconceptions. Yeah, I mean, based on anyone that we know who's doing something similar. I mean, nothing's really similar like Steam Power Draft, but our age, having a band and stuff like that, and it's just not really how things work in the music industry anymore. And if
Yeah.
it does, it's super rare, So I guess it was probably rare back in the day too, but it's just not. And I don't think anyone would take a chance on something as out of left field as us.
Weird as we are, yeah. So I
Um,
think we've found our niche and it's working for us. And
yeah, I mean, we can't complain.
if someone wanted to sign us, like what are they going to do more than what we can do?
Like, because
have
most
to, like-
like record stuff with startup bands is like, oh, we'll get you some studio time, we'll get you this and that, and like, well, we can already do that from our apartments, and like, our stuff is pretty decent considering that we're not.
Plus,
doing
it's
it
like, is
professionally.
our music really gonna top the charts? Like, is it
Yeah.
gonna hit? I don't know.
We
It's
might-
hard to
yeah,
say.
I think something more likely is like we get a deal or an endorsement by something, but I don't think it would.
We could do a commercial, or we perform here or there. We've done theme parks
Yeah.
before, cartoon or a show. Like, those are more likely than getting signed.
I think
but,
when we
know.
started it, it's always people kind of telling you, oh, the guy with the briefcase is going to show up and offer you a bunch of money to own your act and tell you what to do, and you'll make a lot of money. But that does never happen.
never happened.
Here's what happens. You make a lot of money on your own, and then some guy with a briefcase comes up and says, hey, can I take some of that money from you? And then can I take some? And then
That's pretty much, yeah. If you're signing anything early on, that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Someone just taking your money.
Because now
for no
it's
reason.
like we're trying to say, look what we have, instead of like,
I would never give the advice of like holding out for that person. Like we live in an age where you can sustain yourself if you get a small audience. Like that could almost fund you, or some people can make it a living after a few years of building it, and that's like something that's unique to this day and age and the internet. So I would take full advantage of that, because celebrities are changing, and like bands and stuff are more like personalities, and you have like
and more, plus
you have
more.
like
there's
a Twitter, or you have like a social media that you can like express yourself on, and people follow that, and they follow your
there's
music.
more. It's more variety. Like, more people now than ever can go out and create something and
Yeah.
share it with the world and have a
Yeah,
fan
sure.
base. So like,
and it's easier to connect to people too, like just like this. Like we're we have our live stream, we have our patrons in chat we can talk to, talking about how good coffee gelato is. So yeah, my advice is never wait for the man with the cigar and the big sack of money with a dollar sign on it. Like that's never gonna happen. So you gotta make. make
don't
your
you
own
want to be
thing.
that person one day though? Like, just have a big sack of money that you just like, hey, here you go, here you go, kid.
I don't know if I'd have any trust in an act
Yeah,
that way.
I would be like, they're probably gonna waste this.
Well, that's half the mentality though. That's why we're in this situation. First of all, no one has any faith in anything. There's no nobody wants to take a risk Like, no, it's like no time for risk. Like, there's somebody who's going to do exactly what I want. I'm just going to give my money to that person.
Yeah, and I mean it's pretty. I think it made sense when people started talking about Patreon-like ideas and stuff. Even back in the day, like I mean, we signed up with patronism.com, which was like Patreon, but it didn't take off like Patreon. And then we did our own subscription service, Engineer Tier, and it definitely helps. Like Patreon has definitely been a blessing. Like I think just because of its name brand kind of thing, like more people are willing to sign up for that than something like the Engineer Tier site, which is just like our own website that's hosted on a WordPress site. So, it's like I think that's people are like being able to kind of speak with their dollar directly, and it's not just like I'm not pre-ordering this video game or watching this movie. Like it's literally like, oh, I give them $5 or $10 a month, and then I get this content, and that's cool. Like you can see the progress like immediately rather than.
I support a couple people on Patreon. They're just like, I like their content. I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff
it's a cool thing to do.
You don't even want the rewards. I'm like, I don't want this. I don't want I don't want to talk to
I mean, it's cool when you get like some like, here's a behind the scenes video with this person that who rarely does any like interviews or anything, and it's like that's really neat. But
yeah, I support two people. I support two groups on Patreon, and just because I'm not rich or anything, I do like the lowest tier, like $2 a month, and I'm happy just to get the emails once in a while to say, oh, we're gonna be putting this up soon. Like I don't personally need all the extra stuff. I'm happy just to support.
Well, I think as artists, it's also it's just like, you have the money, just do whatever you do your thing.
Yeah,
that's all I want to do is just more of that, please.
You're cutting out the middmiddleman in a sense, and I think that was a big part of this upsurge of you being able to give your money directly to an artist. That's very cool, and it's able to sustain a lot of artists who wouldn't be able to do that before, who would have needed a record label to give them studio time or something like that. So it is huge.
I kind of feel like
to getting into crafts, like small crafts, small batch, and like things that you want specifically. So,
but back in the day, it was like when we were first starting, people like. It was, maybe, will you ever get signed to a record label? But for us, it was, given the time frame, when we were getting kind of popular, everyone said, you got to go on America's Got Talent, you got to go on this, you got to go on that, and American Idol, and it's just like, we looked into some of that stuff, and it's just like, it wouldn't have helped us at all. Like, you would have been known forever as that band that didn't win on this talent show, and basically we couldn't perform. We couldn't perform for like a year after the episode or something, so it's like you're out of work, you're not really getting paid.
And they've changed, and we know this because we've been contacted by America's Got Talent, like when that was a thing and happening, like almost every year when it was going on, and we kept saying the same thing, like no, the contract doesn't really allow us to. We only do this many shows a year. That's too much for us. Like we would be basically destroying the entire act by being on television. We knew people who did do it, and they had to put a hiatus on their act, and they did other things, of course. But
and they didn't benefit from it other than being able to say they were on America's Got Talent.
Yeah, and
I guess that's cool if you like that experience. But
they did say that when more of the recent emails. This is probably a few years ago though. That they said, oh no, we don't do that anymore. Like you can do your act and stuff and whatnot and it was true, but it's still, we were interested.
You know what? Being on national TV is not what it used to be. Like everybody's been on national TV. Unfortunately, we live in a world of reality shows and competitions. So if there's 34 voice competitions, then I'm not going to remember anybody. I'm not going to remember nobody from any of these voice things. It's like how many people have won The Voice that you see like on the regular? You're like, man, I can't wait to see their hit. They won The Voice last year. They must be amazing. Where's their CD?
American Idol back in the day, yeah, of course, because it was still kind of like that in that age
very
of
specific,
that stuff. But now it's like it kind of falls. All that stuff falls off because it's just not relevant anymore.
And I'm sure
Plus, nobody.
I'm sure there's plenty of people my age that do watch that, but I personally don't know a single person in my life that watches any of those shows. So it's like,
it's the same thing with radio too. When people talking to us,
like,
I think
honestly, like that kind of stuff's kind of died down a little bit. It seems like almost like, do you think like Zoomers are really into all that kind of stuff right now? Like,
who
I think it's more into YouTube and internet stuff. So it's like that's where we are. We're already in where we need to be. Like, we're on the internet and we're making ourselves, a living realistically, which is great.
Yeah. It's just people who view media differently these days. So like, if you're in the newspaper, you're not gonna hear it from anybody but like my parents' friends. Those are the only people who read the newspaper anymore.
Right.
So like, I've been in the newspaper a bunch of times. The only emails I ever get or text messages I ever get is like from like my mom's friend or something like that. Because it's like nobody my age reads the newspaper, and certainly nobody younger than me reads the newspaper. So it's not really that relevant anymore.
I've had people tell us, like, you should get on the radio. You guys would be a hit. I'm like, no one.
The radio.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh God. Timestamp was.
Wait, what word did you say?
Oh, I didn't even hear it.
The F word. Sorry.
Thanks.
I think we covered it up.
Sorry.
But, no, that's funny what you said, Brian, about if you're in the newspaper, you only hear it from like older relatives.
For sure.
Yeah. Because like I do photography for City Ballet of San Diego, and I've had a couple like really nice color pictures, like full spread front of the arts page when we have a show, and like my grandma always like keeps a copy to give to me, and I'm like, thank you. I don't know what to do with this.
That's
I
it.
don't know what to- like, I don't read news. That's really cool, but like, yeah, the only people who know or care are like my grandma's age.
Yeah. It is cool to have the scrapping and stuff.
Yeah,
like that, but,
yeah.
Like, it's definitely
It's nice
not
to see.
Okay, I wrote down the timestamp.
Thanks. Sorry about that. It just slipped.
Next question. From Kevin. Kevin asks, if you could add any instrument or song style to your skill list, what would it be?
Violin would be pretty impressive.
Instrument or song style?
I think just more adeptness with any instrument would be nice, because like,
If I could scat a little bit better, that'd be pretty cool too.
but all of it's like obtainable if you invested the time. It's just you only
Yeah,
invest
you gotta
as much
really
time as you
invest that
want.
time.
So that's how it goes. But I always figure like, well, if I cram more into my life, then what wouldn't I have already learned? Like, because I look at folks who are less jack of all trades kind of, and of course they're like super amazing on the few things they do. But I think as far as survivability goes and stuff, like it probably makes more sense to have a few extra, being able to be a little more versatile and stuff.
Yeah.
That maybe doesn't help.
People always say like jack of all trades, master of none, but no one ever continues the phrase. It's master of all trades, or no, sorry, jack of all trades, master of none, but far better it to be a master of
Many,
what
right?
is it? Of some
Of
compared
master-
to just a master of one.
Yeah,
Your
something like
usefulness is basically
For sure. Yeah.
made tenfold better. And honestly, like our whole story is about all of us being jacks of all trades.
Yeah, and I think it's less about like, I think it's more just because it's relevant in like when we were growing up. Like, yeah, well, like I don't have any friends, I don't know anyone who can do this stuff or anything like that. So you have to do it yourself because I'm not personable. I can't,
Yeah.
I can't get people who are gonna want to work with me or something. So, just as a shy kid. But then when you finally do end up working in a group, like it benefits like so much to be able to do stuff on your own. And honestly, like over the years, like anyone who can't do more than one thing, it's kind of like, why do we have them around? I don't know how else to say it than that, but it's kind of like,
it's also like we've been really lucky with the people we've gotten in Steam Powered Giraffe because like a lot of it comes down to humility and just like putting that ego aside, and that's a rare thing, especially in our business. Like I think most bands and stuff are gonna fail just because of the egos of the members, and if it's not, all it takes is one person. It just takes one
Seriously.
to ruin the whole bunch. Like that's why going into our band we're always like, it's equal. There's never gonna as soon as someone becomes like the de facto face of the band, then it's not something I don't think I want to do anymore. I don't want to be in a competition. I don't want to play second fiddle. I don't want that to affect my contributions. Like, oh, what's the point? Like I'm backup person number 3.
Yeah.
But some people like, I know fans will say like, oh, but Spine or Zero or that one's the main. And it's like, well, it can be. So like we never solidify who's the main singer because it changes every song, which is very unique.
We're always willing to learn something new. It's like you can give anybody an instrument and be like, all right, well, this is going to be your for this song. You gotta play it for this song. So it's like the willingness to want to learn new stuff and be able to do that stuff is super helpful in itself. So
Yeah, for sure.
And we actually have one more question. Penguin Jones asks, you are going on a road trip and have to choose one album to bring with you. What do you choose? Asking for everyone.
Hopefully something with a lot of length.
Yeah, probably like an anthology CD set.
Yeah, no. The Time Life music collection of the 70s. You know, something like that.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, okay, if it had to be one CD that's just
That
like an
fits on
album that's not based
Why a
on
CD?
duration.
Maybe it's on a phone and you have all your songs downloaded.
Because that's what I'm saying. If you had a
That's
phone,
one
you would...
album. It doesn't say CD.
Yeah, but why would you only be able to fit one album on a phone?
Because
So
This is
you-
a hypothetical question.
Yeah, but my hypothetical is more realistic.
Here we go. All right.
I've got my
so-
answer, and my
Yeah.
answer is the Space Jam soundtrack. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. It's got me through many a road trip, and it'll get me through at least that one road trip where I've only got one album. For sure.
Can I get a book on tape?
Damn.
Oh, my answer is easy because it's also gotten me through many road trips. The Joshua Tree by YouTube. Because there's nothing better than blasting that, driving through the Mojave Desert, surrounded by no civilization.
Yeah,
There's probably so many
I've done it.
good choices, but I guess I'd say the Oingo Boingo anthology would be pretty cool to have all their music.
So,
I probably get tired of it after the first week, but you know.
the hard part is like, you know, mostly music's for a mood. So like, you know,
Yeah.
one band I wouldn't pick over because if I had to just have one, I'd be like, well, I'd probably want something like
Yeah.
that's more calming or something, like a little more like chill out or something. Because like because I don't necessarily need something that's super upbeat
Just
or
on
like,
the YouTube channel, chill beats to be stranded on a desert island too.
I'd probably pick something that's more like Americana folk or something, like just because.
Wait, are we stranded on an island in this scenario?
Did it say island?
we're on a road,
Road
trip.
trip.
We're on a road trip.
Oh, road trip.
So it's not.
Why do I immediately go to
One
like?
album for road trip
But it's
purposes.
but it's 2021 and still hellscape, so
Oh my
you know
God.
it's a pretty dangerous road trip.
How long? It depends on how long the road trip is. Like,
Oh, it's
is this
all
gonna be a
across
24-hour
America.
road trip to Texas, or how far are we going?
Yeah, I'd probably do like Kingston Trio or Journeyman or something like that because it's like standard and it's like I could get enough of the rock and roll age as some of those, like a greatest hits album. It would have to be one of those because I don't want something that's like this was done in 1950 something and it's all these
Beatles
sounds.
anthology would be pretty cool. They're always. It's a lot of Beatles to listen
Yeah,
to.
I've listened to so much Beatles. I feel like I'd
I
want to give another
yeah.
artist a chance.
I could probably do a Graceland, Paul Simon Graceland. I could probably rock that one for a little while. It's one of those like nostalgic like.
Honestly, I probably just
Or
wouldn't
like-
take an album with me.
Oh wait, hold up. Like
Yeah.
Miles Davis, like kind of blue, like something like that, where it's just like I could probably dig that one forever. And ever.
Something that you could
Totally-
just put on
totally
repeat,
fine.
right?
Bum, 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 ba-na, da-da-da. Yeah, I'm about that one as well. Okay.
I'm trying to imagine like you only have System of a Down, and you have to listen. Like I'm like, okay, I got to be in the mood for it, but
Well, that's why the Space Jam soundtrack has got all sorts of stuff. If
Yeah.
you want to just listen to R&B, you can listen to just R&B. If you want to
Yeah.
get hyped, you can listen to the themes. If you want to listen to Bugs Bunny rap, you can also do that.
I wonder
Something
if
for everyone.
the Space Jam 2 soundtrack is gonna be.
No, it won't be as good. It won't be.
They're gonna
It's
probably have. I believe
impossible.
I Can Fly, but sung by a.
you mean they're
modern
not gonna
artist.
get R. Kelly to do the second one?
I mean, isn't it everyone's responsibility just to record an exact version without him? Because 100%, there's like 300 people who could do it just as good as him, if not better now. It's like we could just take his voice out and have someone re-record it. Not everyone can listen to the song again, and everyone's very happy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He didn't write it. Like
Have 21
his
Pilots
song. He just
or
sang it.
what's her name do it? That new lady on the scene that I can't remember the name of.
Everyone.
That new lady could be a lot of people.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Thanks for doing all
Yeah.
that. Questions?
Those were our Patreon questions. What?
Vimeo crashed.
What?
What happened? I think it's still working though.
Oh.
I bought Halloween candy for the house just cause.
Oh, I gotta buy Halloween
No,
candy.
I know there's not going to be any trick or treaters, but it makes me feel a semblance of normalcy to have a big bowl of Halloween candy, and I can eat it all without the guilt of knowing I have to save some for kids.
You have to at least ask yourself trick or treat every time you get.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it doesn't count.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Trick or treat.
So we have a week or so before. Oh, you can see the calendar on the, on
It's
the
like,
screen.
oh yes, we do.
Yeah, it's just because of where I have it positioned on the screen. I'm capturing.
I'll be back to.
Y'all gotta vote, and you
yeah.
gotta get if you're mailing ballots, you gotta get them in.
vote
now.
Vote. I voted
man,
at the beginning of the
I don't even know what to tell you if you're not voting. I'll tell you this. My father was not allowed to vote for 30 years of his life. All right. Now think about that. That's someone who I'm currently living. I'm not that old. I'm 30 years old. So about when he was my age, it was his first time he was able to vote. So if you think voting is not important, you are mistaken. You are mistaken. So get your little booty out and go vote.
I hear a lot of people
Yes.
just saying, well, it's pointless to vote in California. It's like, we're always going to go blue. And it's like, you know, I guess.
It's not pointless. Get your butt out and vote. You don't have any excuses. There's no
Yeah.
excuses.
Plus,
get your butt
now
out.
it's coming in your house, and you don't have a choice. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Go drop it off if you can, or vote early. But just
Yeah, I think mail-in voting is too late now.
You would have to.
Oh,
You'd have
yeah,
to do it like
today's
yesterday
the
or
day.
something.
Yeah.
Or today,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But we dropped ours off at the library, so you can still do that kind of stuff. And there's polling places all around. Drop-off locations, not polling places.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm sure most of our followers or listeners are doing that. We've probably weeded
In
out
America,
the ones
that
that
is.
that are against us,
Yeah.
opposing Trump and all that. But for the majority,
I mean, it's
people
weird
probably-
to have to it's weird to get political, but I don't think it has anything to do with politics.
No, it's
it
not
has everything to do with
political anymore.
ethics, and
Yep.
we are an ethical band.
For sure.
We don't like politics shouldn't matter, and I never thought like, we'd have the day where we'd even say anything about politics. But yeah, like
Well, who knows how it's all gonna go? But like, I don't know if this is too political or whatever. But as it is now, the Democrats are going to be the new Republicans. So the current
For sure.
current Republicans got to go away, and Democrats are going to become them, and then we're going to get some of this
The
this
new
new
stuff,
party
yeah.
or something that's going. I don't know if it's going to be socialism or something, but it's going to be something different because like I don't I don't know about all you, but like which is, and it's fine if you don't agree with me, but of course, but like obviously Joe Biden ain't he ain't right for it, but he's certainly not Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think that's the
He's-
important
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Because like
Definitely one of the most
if you told it,
conservative Democrats I've ever seen.
yeah, if you
So,
went back in the day, I'd be, and you just told me like, oh yeah, like if I didn't know already, and you said he was a Republican, I would have been like, oh yeah, I guess he is. But obviously, there's more progressive views than that. But that's
sure.
it's so obvious when it's up against someone like Donald Trump. that
Yeah,
it's like,
I mean, like I can say I have voted for other people in the
Yeah.
in the primaries or whatever. Like, but like we're to the point where it doesn't matter if he's not your first choice for Democratic candidate. It's about getting the current administration out. And
I've heard
the-
so many people
the
that I
way
want to
do
write
that is
Bernie's
vote
on the
blue.
ballot or this or that, and I'm like, it's
well,
just.
just go watch.
I wish we lived in an actual democracy,
Yeah.
but
go
we do
go
not.
watch Bernie Sanders' video, and he says everything but like, I know it sucks you have to vote for this person, but please do it.
Please.
Even Mel Brooks came out
Yeah.
at like retirement
Yeah.
just to say,
94.
I can't see my sons and neither can you, and I miss them, and you should vote. I'm like, he's like in his 80s or 90s, and he's like
Yeah, he's
coming
in his
out.
90s.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
crazy.
you have to be willfully ignorant at this point to realize that. To not realize that lives literally depend on this vote.
Yeah,
and this election.
it's ridiculous how people want to brush it under the rug.
Yes.
It's horrifying. I mean, I'm not saying this hasn't always been a problem, but everyone should be aware of just the state of everything is
Yeah, I
just
mean, we're
not
past the point of
not
no
going in a
return.
good direction.
Yeah.
And the people that are obviously making these decisions won't be around probably to see them, how they're going to affect all the young people.
Yeah, yeah. I had a pretty down night last night about the Supreme Court and all that happened. The new swearing in and all that. It's hard. It's really hard these days to keep my head up and keep my
every
brain
day
out
is
of the muck.
The new slogan is now expand the courts rather than pack the courts, because they already packed the courts, and now it's there's a lot that has to go right, and even then it's still an uphill battle. But that's just how it's going to be, and we're of the age where it's already tiring for us because we grew up where it was kind of where that changed, and it was like, wait, what? This is actually. But just look at the young people that have to deal with all these issues that, that they're just going to inherit. I mean, kind of like we did too, but like it feels like millennials are kind of like the first ones, if you don't count Gen Xers and stuff, like that are getting this weird. Like in between, like, oh yeah, of course we're living it with our parents. I mean, we're not, but or of course
we're the Depression era where it's like the Zoomers get to be born into the chaos and get adapted to it, and we got to see it crumble and have our dreams shattered, and like everything that they told us was wrong.
I was actually just talking about that with Camille and David the other night about the my cousins. They're the what is it? Zoomer? Is that the correct?
Yeah, the newer ones.
The newer ones, yeah.
I mean,
and
they're just Gen Z. Why are
Gen
we?
Z,
Can we be
yeah.
Gen Y? Can we be
Z.
Gen Y?
I know.
I hate the term millennial. How did we?
Well,
How did we skip? I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Yeah, it changed. It somehow it shifted to millennial.
Gen Ys.
But like when I was younger, whenever I heard people refer to my generation, like in my teens, it was Gen Y. But then somewhere in my 20s, it changed to millennial.
Yeah,
Gen X came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, but
We're kind of like Gen X in a way, kind of. We're kind of the forgot. Well, they're like the forgotten.
they're the Pepsi generation.
Yeah. No one really thinks of the Gen Xers.
Yeah, I always think that Gen X should be the CEOs of all the corporations right now, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're just,
But that should be some hope. Is that there's still going to be outliers who are like who want this fascism stuff, because that's what they grew up in and all that. But there's just so many young people who have the same mentality that can't vote right now.
Yeah.
And when I was their age, I didn't care about voting. I didn't care. It was like between. I don't know. It sounded like
the things they're going to care about are the things that are going to affect them, and there will be many things. And
for sure,
I definitely have faith in our generation and the ones that come after, and probably even Gen Xers. They've been mostly cool. Like I've never really, we're all in this together, and no matter what happens, gotta just stick through it. Like it's our country, and you gotta take it back, because where else? What are you gonna do? Go somewhere else in the world? There's always gonna be problems. So it's just like might as well fight.
Yeah. We're building a society that's kind of self-sustainable to itself. It's like like we were talking earlier, like artists are able to do to sustain on their own and to do crafts and stuff like that, and actually be able to sell them on a large base. So it is, in a sense, kind of crumbling all these things that we have built up. So, the future is always hopeful, but it's just always very difficult to kind of see that stuff. But
there's just so much that's been dismantled in these last 4 years that it's like so. I mean, within the last few weeks, that's why it's so like this ain't normal. Oh, politics, boring. Who cares? But I mean, the first time I was excited to vote was for Barack Obama, and things were so different back then compared to now, and now it feels like any Democrats running? Sure, yeah, let's get whoever that is.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on with George Bush, and people.
Sure.
I talked to people during that administration. I bet they felt it was kind of like the Trump, but I was so young, like I don't know if I understood, everything.
We watched the docu series. I think it was on CNN, but it's on Netflix, where they have the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s.
Oh yeah.
That's like produced by Tom Hanks and stuff, and those are pretty well done, and they kind of give you an idea of what was going on. I was like, I remember this as a kid, but I didn't quite grasp it.
You have more context now, yeah.
So if any of you are of our age or younger, like that definitely helps, like fill in the gaps from your childhood. You're like, this was going on when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And didn't understand. But no, yeah, totally. There's always been corruption in politics and terrible stuff going on, and but I don't know. I mean, I think it's so obvious. Like this administration's. When do you stop someone running down the path?
Yeah,
of being a
when is?
fascist?
It's ridiculous how far it's gone on when people like, Bill Clinton was for a sex scandal, which seems like, oh God, how could he? And it's like, wow, who cares?
There's just.
But that's that's
We
that's
stand
it.
Monica Lewinsky.
That-
Who cares
but that's
about
it.
all that?
Democrats will always fold to some nonsense like that, and Republicans will always just bite down and keep going
dig
because that's what they
in.
do.
Yeah.
They just lie. They'll just lie to your face. They'll be like, "No, that didn't happen. That
It's
didn't
weird that
happen.
there's a
That didn't
party
happen.
that-
It didn't happen."
There's weird that there's a party that literally they're based upon, like, now anyways, like that they're based on cheating to get by, and
I
that
don't think
Democrats
all-
don't have a spine, basically.
I mean,
I don't
it's
think
just,
all-
it's astounding how much intentional harm this administration is trying to cause, and not even trying to hide it. If you see sound clips and
But what you're probably
interviews and-
pointing out, Bunny, is that like, yeah, it's not it's bad that to say like
It's
all Republicans, but
even Republicans. This isn't what the Republicans stand for. This is
the party
evil.
has
This is
changed.
yeah. Like if you're a Republican, that's great and all, but definitely feel you should be on the side of ethics and realize this is wrong. Because if a
Yeah.
Democrat was pulling this stuff, Democrats would be all over it. Or anyone. Like it shouldn't matter what our political affiliations are, but when it comes down to ethics, like you have to stand firm. That's why.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna go with the party that's always going to be more ethical.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
and if
And
both
plus, it's
parties
not
can
like we
be
have much of a
ethical,
choice.
then you can start focusing on the other stuff that matters to you. But like,
yeah, like my political ideals have never lined up with you Republicans, but it has shifted so much in recent years, and it's so different than it used to be. Like I have a family member who has been a registered Republican their entire life, and they voted blue in 2016, against Trump, and they saw the signs, and because it's like it's not what it used to be.
well, most of the
I mean-
people that I know who support Trump, like it's still like an ignorance thing. Like they're not seeing the bad stuff, and they're even though it should be obvious, and they ain't seeing it. I mean. They can say that we support transgender stuff. Like I'm talking about like even family members and stuff. Like they're lying to themselves that all this is fine. Because
it's so weird
because
we don't talk to our parents anymore, and this is one of the reasons. And like I mean, these were the generation that freaking like the what is it, the greatest, the summer of love, the hippie movement, and like they would always bring that up and stuff. And it's like, where did all that go? Where did this? You talk about like those were the times, but did you ever practice it? No, you joined corporate America and started doing bad things.
But Summer of Love is a prime example, man. Summer of Love was the like bloodiest part of the civil rights movement. Like, and everyone forgets about that.
Yeah.
It's like the summer of dancing and sunshine and lollipops while people were getting beat in the streets. It's like that narrative right there is America.
I didn't understand like so many of my relatives and stuff. Like you always think that this was a movement. This is when things started turning around and stuff. But it's disgusting. It's like
conservatives have consistently stood in the way of other people's rights. That's all I've ever seen from them. It's like, all right, gay people want to get married. Well, why? Why do they want to get married? They can't do that. They can't. Well, transgenders want to do that. Yeah, why this? Why this? Well, black people want to. Well, why? Well, what are you talking about?
And they never have a good answer.
If all you ever stand on is somebody else's rights, if you're just standing on them the whole time, then you don't stand for America. You say your Pledge of Allegiance, you say liberty and justice for all, and all you want to do is stomp on other people's liberty.
Yeah, exactly.
And just someone who just wants to be with their spouse and their partner when they're in the hospital to have those same rights that you already have. Like, why?
Yeah. I mean,
why do we even entertain these ideas anymore? Why is it even an argument?
Yeah.
And that's the most frustrating thing for me. Is like, why are we arguing about this? How could you politicize someone's life?
Exactly.
When you walk around the streets and you can step out of it, then you shouldn't have politicized it in the first place. You don't have anything. You have no business being there.
I think a lot of it is just and maybe this is going to label me like self-racist, but it's a lot of white people who are middle class who don't have to worry about a lot of these issues that don't affect them. Then they can just pretend that everything's fine. And ignorance can only go so far before it's like, wake up, okay? Like, and if I can learn it, you can learn it. You can learn to understand that the world has not been fair,
and some
you
of
need
us
to do
don't
everything
have
in your.
You don't have the like Bunny and stuff like you don't and Brian, you don't have the option to just sit back and like, okay, yep, this is fine. Like,
no, it's because your life is constantly under scrutiny. It's like, it's ridiculous. And I've heard the racist and sexist things my parents have said, and it's just like, how can you believe all this stuff? I think it's like, honestly, like what does the Republicans regurgitate a lot? It's just hate for the left. And what do they complain about? It's always the left, and it's just like they just want to attack us and do this and that. And it's like, what? I think it goes both ways a little bit, but it's just like, why just hate someone based on their political affiliation for no reason?
I mean, that's what people have definitely regurgitated to us with even just our band statement that was pretty, we don't support this administration because, ethics, fascism. But it's like, well, yeah, but we're saying this specific guy. But also it's true. I mean, obviously we have our own political beliefs and stuff too, but I mean, as far as like those people, like Bunny and I know someone and we kind of know exactly why they're that way. And it's one of those things like will always be an excuse, and it can be. There's never a good excuse, but it's good enough for them to take to the grave. And in this instance, it's definitely being sexually assaulted by someone that wasn't white, and that's their thing. That's going to be their life story for the rest of their life. And it's it's so stupid when on the outside they support this stuff, but then you just hear this air about them that everything's just racist. And you're just like, what are you doing? Like, people can hear you. Like, you're not it's so like they just got to get that out of their heads, and they're probably not going to. Because
I mean, the person we're talking about, it's awful. And I think a lot, if not that, it's, I mean, selfishness goes along with it, but also a lack of ethics. Like, I mean, I think it's because, if you're constantly told that sort of feelings and emotions and wants and needs are a weakness, it's kind of like, take superheroes, for example. It's like, do Republicans think that they are the superheroes in this narrative where they have to come in and fix everything? It's these narratives of like, instead of like people coming together and working together, it's always this super powerful being that comes down and sets everything straight. Even in Marvel movies. And it's like, well, no one's going to actually do that. The only way we're going to make change is together, working together with our enemies. And like, if you hate Republicans or hate Democrats, it's just, you're not going to get anywhere. Like, because these people are going to exist, and if they're just spouting this hateful rhetoric where, they consider liberals, well, I can't use bad words here, but, they think they're weak, basically. Like, that's just sad. Like, that compassion is considered so useless.
Yeah.
And
we've lost the ability to connect as individuals, and we're all going off ideals and opinions that don't really affect us, and that's unfortunate. And that's going back to your friend, it's that same situation. Because one person hurts you doesn't mean that entire race is going to hurt you. That's a really,
the worst part of it,
really
though, is
messed up. That's a really messed up thing to think, though. Like, I mean, I can't even tell you how many bad things have happened in my life, but I don't look at that person and say, "Oh, that entire race." Like, that's rough. That's real rough thinking.
They don't do it openly, and they deny it at every step of the turn. It's under the surface. It's not what they show. It slips out, and that's the hardest thing to do, because you can show them the
like
proof,
that,
and everyone denies it. Everyone around
they don't like people, period. Yeah. They don't care about other people, and it's like, that's just coming from like an introvert perspective and stuff. It's like, I don't have to like all people to love my species, to want it to be better, to know that there's a bunch of me's out there, and and how would I treat myself? What do I want for myself? What do I want for my loved ones? Like, even if I don't agree with people's perspectives or how they act, and like I don't understand it, I know they're all me's walking around living in this world, sometimes going under the effect of just crap that they were handed in life that is super not fair. And I don't understand how people can't, is it empathy?
Yeah.
Empathize, sympathize with that. Like, just imagine that you're the one going through the problems. Like how would you feel? How would that make your family feel? It's an easy thing to do, and it's like if you have to dig down deep and really decide to start loving people, because there's a lot to love out in the world if you choose to do it. But if you just look at the world and see a bunch of, butts that you just don't want anything to do with, like, I mean,
That's America, though. You look at that generation and stuff. Like
Yeah.
we're a country who says healthcare. You need insulin? No, money. Compared to other countries where it's like, what? Your country doesn't give you healthcare? That's like a basic human right. America doesn't give you basic human rights. It doesn't give you crap.
I mean,
that's the mentality of everyone. It's everyone for themselves.
Yeah.
We're run by business. We can start from nothing and get to the top. And
it seems like, that whole generation and that mindset that they have about what America is, and you gotta make your own way and all this stuff. Self-made. It's you know what it is. It's a perversion of what the idea of America should be. And like obviously, I have a lot of opinions about how America even got started and all of the atrocities and colonialism and all that. But basically, America isn't a place; it's an idea. People always say that. You hear a lot of immigrants say that. America's an idea, and these people have perverted what that idea is.
And anything more than that, like basic human rights and stuff, is considered basically communism to some folks. And that's like stupid, because now why does socialism look so great? Is because it's not even socialism. We're not even, it's like, it feels like the bare minimum that anyone should get. And I feel like, it's not like a wake up call. It's one of those things of like, oh, I guess I'm an adult now, and everyone else is just stupid, and just,
it's all going to be money. It's going to be money. It's all about money. That's all it is. The ethics go out the back door.
But it's really hard to say, like,
these people want their money. They want to continue to make their friends rich.
Isn't late stage capitalism
that's what's happening.
Great?
And the same rhetoric that we would say, let's just hypothetical here, we would say to a person who's really conservative is that you're buying into what they're feeding you, and that's the same rhetoric they turn back on us.
For
and
sure.
it's like, well, I can't say not, but like, how can you turn around ethics? Just look. Sometimes I'll happen across someone who's maybe a fan or something. They'll retweet something and it gets in my Twitter feed of like replies and stuff. And then I click on one and then it's like, oh, this is someone who supports Trump. And like all the stuff in their feed is all these positive things about Trump and like what he's done and oh, this Native American tribe supports Trump and stuff like that. And it's like,
is it that people are so terrible and they see themselves in Trump? Is because like, I agree that people are awful. We're all just terrible, but
I think there's a lot of people out there who just want to believe they
want a free pass, I guess. I don't know.
Because I know there's definitely some people out there who are just like, on the surface they're like, yeah, no, he's great, he's whatever. But there's other people who are actually ignorant of it, and they
I could drive myself crazy trying to get in the heads of the motivations.
Because if they have enough effort to go and find the good things, quote unquote, and reblog them, they must see everything else, right?
We'd be critical of it's like you could be critical of Obama and still be a Democrat. It's not hard.
If you're just gonna source for information that butters up your own opinion, then you're not doing good research.
These people.
I see this a lot.
Work for us.
I see this a lot of like just people spouting out just lies, just blatant lies, and it's stuff that like, all right, well, if you look at any reputable book by any reputable source, you'd see that all the information is false. But you found one website with about 150 people who believe exactly the same thing that you do. So now I could go ahead and put my faith right in there. They thought it, I think it, so it's a fact. It must be a fact, and everything else they're given is a lie. So.
Also, all you Confederate people waving your Confederate flags, remember, you're the traitor, and you were around for 5 years? And you're a traitor. You're a traitor to your country.
Also, the Confederate flag didn't even look like that towards the end. So you should get the one that looks stupid because it, you know what I mean? Like
they all look stupid.
They all look stupid, but like I'm just saying,
this country will
not even the right flag.
Not backpedal to racism. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, man. I wish people would just like take 1 second to like read the laws of the flag, the rules of the flag. Just go ahead and take that 1 second. All of people who are toting flags around and wearing flag bandanas and wearing all this stuff on their body, just like take 1 second to learn about it and learn how to respect it, and then you can start waving that shit around. But it's like I don't understand.
It'd be cool to like the American flag, but that hasn't happened in my life. I mean,
for sure, because it's been hijacked by bullies. You know what I'm saying? People who don't actually believe in the American flag, and you'll see it all the time when you see Hong Kong representing the American flag. All those same people will say, "Oh man, look at them! They believe in freedom and stuff like that." But then you see those same people here, talking about Black Lives Matter or the anti-fascist movement, which I can't believe they can't say ever, and is a bad group. But it's like, all right, you see just the disconnects. Because it's over there and it's not in their face and it's not bothering them and they're not the ones putting it down. So, I mean, a lot of mental gymnastics going on to have to wave that flag and support Donald Trump.
Yeah,
it's just like we like I don't know how Bunny and I were never. There was never going to be a possibility of us not having our own beliefs and stuff. Like our family, like our childhood and stuff. Like I think you'd agree, Bunny. We were on our own. Like there was no way someone was going to ingrain a thought in our head, and if they did, like it would be challenged immediately because we didn't respect our parents, they didn't respect us, we didn't have the love and support growing up, and maybe our dad got nicer after the divorce and stuff. But like not everyone's gonna have that. I really do feel like it.
Well, you have your own opinions, and like I think at a default, you can be ignorant and still wanting to do good things. It's just like got to be aware of it. It's like it's painful to drink it all in, but yeah, like especially now it can be overwhelming. It's just like how do we go about fixing this? And I always come back to the same thing. Like, I can't speak about politics or what's going to happen in the next couple months, but what I can speak of is that if you trust your heart and your gut, you got to stick with that, because that's what's going to persevere even in the worst of times.
Plus,
is that the spirit of mankind and hope. I know
bigger,
that's really
bigger picture. Yeah,
I know I'm grasping at straws, but it's like, what else can you do? It's like you got to cultivate love. You got to start caring about those around you, your neighbors and stuff. And if not for you have to,
if not for the next 5 years or next decade or even our lifetime, like for the people after us, like because someone thought of us and either screwed us over or tried their best, and that's all you can do.
Seriously, though.
And if
you got kids, you just make sure to love them real tightly, because they're going through some really hard stuff right now.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, and if anyone has a problem with the politics, quote unquote, too bad, because that's all that's on anyone's mind right now, and we need to talk about it.
We don't want to add to the stress. Of course, take the time to de-stress.
But I'm past the point of feeling bad about talking about this stuff.
It's not going to go away.
It's not going away, and I am happy to talk about it.
I hope it's all just a big old hoax, and there's no coronavirus, and everything's going to be hunky dory.
And my kids will talk to me again, Trump and it was all them, and they were just going through a phase in their 30s.
I really hope that we're wrong, because it would be amazing to be proved wrong and like that everything's hunky dory, but that's not the case. And
I mean, everything in Philadelphia that just happened transpired yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm really like, I'm feeling like it's depressing. It's honestly just feels hopeless.
Yeah, I
a lot
don't
of days.
Like the world past November 3rd doesn't exist to me. Like I've just compartmentalized because I can't deal with that level of emotion. I'm living day by day, just trying to get to that point, and then I'll figure out.
I don't know what's going to happen. Like, are riots going to happen? Who's going to be doing the rioting? Is it going to be a good thing? Are there people going to condemn the rioting? Like, what is going to happen? It's just like,
well, we should count our blessings
2021 bring?
That even in California and stuff, a lot of cities here and stuff, like, of course there's lots of conservatives too, but it's still like, I mean, rioting's already happening over the same shit that's happened over and over and over again. So, like, it's just reality banging on our head, like, and all I've seen, even with people rioting and protesters with all that stuff, they're all saying the same message, is like, if it's with the cops stuff, you're here to protect us, we need reforms. People in other countries that have it worse than us, that literally get,
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. I try and keep up the best I can, but there's a lot of really terrible stuff happening elsewhere, and I have to remember that.
And
too.
we're only
Like-
we're only one individual person each, so you don't have to shoulder the burden of fixing everything.
I'm thinking about everything going on in the world right now because I try and I follow a lot of National Geographic photographers and stuff who are out there in other countries right now documenting what's happening, and I mean revolution and all revolt, uprising, horrible things and good things, amazing good people all over the world fighting this stuff. It's happening everywhere and everyone's dealing with their own stuff. It's really easy for me to get bogged down in this bubble of the US election and what's going on here, which is important, but then like I think it's also good for me to be reading about other stuff going on. The protests in I believe it was Nigeria recently last week, and about concerning police brutality, and there's a lot of really terrible stuff happening there, and I'm trying to keep up with the photographers and the photojournalists who are out on the scene.
What isn't it like the 7th biggest power in the world, and they have a corrupt policing system?
Yeah, I mean,
and
like,
it's like the
there's
worst.
that
They're
hope-
extorting the.
There's that hopeless feeling of like, well, there's nothing I can do sitting over here, but at least I'm reading about it, and it's like. Comforting is not the
I
right
think
word.
sometimes that's all you can do.
It's eye-opening.
is
You know,
just
I have to remember
Don't
that
be part of the problem.
the world exists outside of the U.S., outside of what's going on, you know, in my life and everything. And I'm trying to keep that empathy for everyone else out there, and everyone is going through tough, terrible times right
Yeah.
now. And
But see,
there's so
that's
many amazing people fighting it everywhere.
That's what separates, I don't want to say us and them, but like, how can you not look at the world and just feel sad for everyone? Like that's compassion. It's something that everyone should have in their bones, that you see suffering and it makes you weep, Like why would you want to see this world like this? Why would you want to imagine these people suffering?
Well, they're
but it's
lying
happening
to,
out there.
lying to themselves for one thing, because like
Yeah,
they'll have a
like-
similar conversation like this, but they'll deny everything. So it's like, I mean, I haven't heard from our parents. I mean, they can't because I've blocked their numbers, but they certainly didn't try harder than that. So
I'm really like
don't-
just
yeah.
as far as like the one thing I'm worried about, especially since John Oliver did a big old piece on it, was the World Health Organization, that Trump's going to pull us out of there, and it's just like
There's a lot to be concerned about.
one of the most evil things that you could do, and it's just like the World Health Organization, like we all came together under this great little system to try to stop pandemics and stuff, and the way they've handled it is just monstrous. Like,
Horrifying.
Well,
it's not a perfect system, but how beautiful is it that so many countries go together, and that didn't they got rid of what were they saying? What was it got rid of
They got rid of polio completely.
polio? Yeah,
polio.
like
Yep.
I just
Eradicated.
and they were on the verge of getting rid of what's the other one?
Is it-
Smallpox? Or wait, no, that
No,
sorry.
smallpox is done.
Yeah.
I want to say it was the Ebola virus, but it's different.
I think
Yeah.
it's the Ebola, but yeah, that was
Like on the
also
tip
that
of
was
my
the one that
tongue.
they got criticism from, right? I can't remember, but
Well,
that we're stepping out. If Trump wins, it's gonna be really bad.
it's
Even just on that front.
real easy to destroy something. It's going to be so hard to build up. It's going to take more than one term of a more progressive administration. It's going to take decades, and it already will. So there's no reason you can already have given up because we're basically ground zero already, or lower than that.
I wish we could end this on a positive note, but
Here's
there's
a
really
positive.
sometimes there's nothing,
Steam Powered Giraffe is still putting out stuff even with all this going on, and I suppose we still will try even if the world still is actually literally burning.
We've
around
got
us,
each
too.
other, and we've got like-minded folks who want to see the world be a better place, and keep fighting for it and just love one another.
Steam Powered Giraffe was 1896 album out November 9th. But no, in all seriousness though, like we hope some of this music and stuff reinforces any positive vibes that you get from the group or anything in life. And just like most entertainment nowadays, it's like, well, use it as the escape if that's what you choose to do, because like there's no shame in taking a breather from all this. So
Our next Bennettarium will happen after the election, so we'll see. And
they still might be counting votes and stuff like that. Because I mean, all this mail-in stuff, like realistically, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to be like, oh yeah, we kind of estimated it was this person.
Remember, there's also no election night. It actually takes like a week to actually get all the votes.
And it's
So-
we're probably
take
going to be
longer.
December. or something.
Expect probably some controversy with that they're going to have to sort
Yeah.
out.
Well, this was fun.
Well, as always, remember, you can only help what's in your immediate location. So look around in your immediate family group. It doesn't necessarily have to be your blood family, but your friend group, the people who are around you. Look at yourself and see how you can take care of yourself before you go and take care of others. That's how we get through this. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, there's no way you can reach out to other people. So
Well said.
always remember that stuff. Put your own mask on before you put on the kids' mask.
We'll see you for the album release and a little more levity. But thank you for joining us today. Hope you got a couple laughs. Hope
Keep
you had
your
some
heads up.
introspection.
I'm saying that
Yeah.
for myself as well as everyone else. Keep your heads up.
And thanks for joining us, Patreon patrons, as well as anyone who's subscribed to the podcast.
It's a podcast
yeah,
from
should we say-
Steam Power Giraffe. It's the Bennettarium. I should probably trade it off. There you go. Go ahead.
We did some stuff and we talked about politics, even though we didn't really want to, on the Bennettarium.
Oh yeah,
Oh boy.
it's the Bennettarium. You know, and on when I did a stream yesterday on Twitch, I definitely had a good 20-minute rant about all this stuff too.
Good.
I use swear words.
It's
Bennettarium.
hard. It's hard not to. I'm just saying. We could be easily using our platform to be like, vote, vote, vote. Do all this. Do all this. You got to be aware of this. So like, showing restraints on that is very hard because it's always on the mind.
Well, we've done our thing. We've shown people that none of this is cool, and we're still getting hate. I quote from it.
Vote
but
with your heart.
But I talked with Professor Elemental and the lead singer from Abney Park, Robert, via email chain because he was it was a personal email with just stuff about how he's getting hate from showing a picture of him punching fascism
Oh,
or something.
Professor
Or it wasn't
Elemental?
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a steampunk artist did something of a steampunk person, and people were up in arms, and he was like, "What does the world come to when you can't say down with fascism? Like something's wrong, and like not just in America and stuff like that." So, and they're all in the same boat. I don't know any artists that aren't in our same kind of like. I mean,
Yeah.
there's going to be ones out there, but
the real awful artists. That's what I've seen. I was like that. The Republican artist chain is like Kid Rock and Ted Nugent, and I guess 50 Cent and Ice Cube. Now.
When my tax attorney starts ranting about Trump, something's wrong.
yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is like I feel like I'm like super liberal, like ultra liberal. Like most liberal people aren't liberal enough for me. Like but my mentality has changed to be like, how about we just get a decent person? And like the bar is really dang low because I'm this
So
The bar
low.
is really
Just-
low. Can we just get someone who's not a Nazi in the White House,
because
please?
I'm not. It's actually it even though it's like there's a separation of like people like my parents, they're not it's like it's not outwardly doing stuff, but like the bar of like, well, I'm not judging other people who have liberal views or anything. Like I don't care. Like do it. You don't like Hitler's? Cool. We're best friends. That's what it feels like, So yeah, that's fine. That's great. But everyone else, if there's the line shouldn't be. It should be pretty obvious, but it isn't for a lot of people.
The bar is on the floor right now.
There's a lot more gray area that we should be sifting through. Is all I'm saying. Like all this black and white stuff should be obvious. It's like there's a lot of delicate pieces to these puzzles called politics, and it would be nice to get back to that rather than these cold cut. This is evil.
Well, honestly, I don't think there's too many people who support Trump now that would say that they like Hitler or something like that. Their rhetoric is going to be like, this is just like Hitler with Nazi camps and everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like concentration camps.
You can't just scream that they're Hitler every time. Like, yes, you can. You should. and they
It's
should
been
be able
4
to prove
years,
that they're
they-
not Hitler.
Yeah, I think we have a right to.
No one's laughing at anyone saying
The president works. All these people work for you. That's the idea. They work for you, and so
we should
if
be
you're not
yeah,
happy with them.
We should be considered like, oh yeah, people should be laughing at all these people pointing fingers, like saying he's a fascist and the administration we're running. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you should be able to prove it. Exactly like what Bunny said.
Should be able to prove it. There's lots of things that should be like erased out of everyone's mind if they just like proved it. Like, you know, just hold up a piece of paper that said this or did this. You know, there's a lot of things that could be proved that just aren't being proved, and that should tell you everything that you need to know about them. But you know, it doesn't a lot of times.
Anyways,
well, we're gonna keep.
I derailed it again. Sorry, we could be talking forever. Anyways,
there's a lot to say. A lot to say.
See
a lot on
y'all
our minds.
Thanks for joining us, and
Take
it's a
care of
podcast
yourself
compared
and
to
others.
Bennettarium.
Bye.
Absolutely.
Bye.